The current structure was not the first mill along Mingus Creek. The Mingus family of German stock moved into the Oconaluftee Valley in the 1790s and built an earlier mill powered by an overshot water wheel. The family grew, the community grew, and the older mill presumably wore out after many decades of service. In 1886, Dr. John Mingus contracted with Sion T. Early to build the present structure. Early was a millwright from Virginia who was working across the mountains in Sevierville, Tennessee at the time, and agreed to do the job in 3 months for $600. His initials, STE, are cut into the front gable just under the eaves. The mill remained in the Mingus Floyd family hands until acquired by the park in the 1930s. All through the years, this was a custom mill, one that ground to each customer's taste. As such mills go, this one was of small to medium size and average sophistication for the time and place. Some exterior portions of the mill are constantly in wet/dry cycles and are subject to rot. Thus, parts of the complex were rehabilitated in 1937 and again in 1968.
Named for the family that settled on it, Mingus Creek is a typical mountain stream whose water flows clear and fast over rock and gravel bed. For most of its length, it is shaded by rhododendron and tall trees. Upstream, some of the water is diverted to power the mill, after which it rejoins its natural course. Mountain mills usually were built along free-flowing streams, dams and their associated ponds being too difficult to build on this terrain.
The building has 3 floors. The ground floor is where most of the work was done. The corn and wheat mills are there, along with the receiving hoppers and toll box. For safety reasons, this is the only floor open to the public. After being ground, the flour went upstairs for final processing. When finished, the various grades of flour and bran stacked up in the wooden chutes hanging from the ceiling and were released into sacks by opening the sliding wooden stops. The second floor holds 2 key pieces of machinery, the smut machine and the bolting chest. The former consists of a squirrel cage fan mounted in a wooden box. As grain was fed through it, the fan blew dust and leaves and other trash away from the duct to the outside of the building. Then it was ready to be ground. The other machine, the bolting chest, separated the ground wheat into different grades.
The tall square structure standing beside the mill building is the Penstock. It stands full of water and provides the 22-foot head of pressure needed to operate the turbine. Flow from the flume to the Penstock is controlled by the water gate. The flow of water brings with it a considerable amount of sand and gravel. Mills powered by a water wheel do not need a sand trap because foreign matter simply flows off the water wheel without doing any harm. A turbine, however, is a precision machine that would be damaged by sand and grit. Abrasive material gets to this point, settles through the slot in the floor of the flume, and collects in the sandbox below. When full, the miller would flush the box. The task of the wooden flume is to carry the water on a level plane across the sloping ground below. From here on upstream, the ground is fairly level, so a simple ditch or race is sufficient to carry the water. The walls of the race are lined with boards to keep them from eroding away. Visitors are invited to walk the path along the race, a distance of roughly 200 yards to the main channel of Mingus Creek. It is a pleasant stroll accompanied by the babbling water, cool and shady in warm seasons and doused with color in the fall.
It's so great you read